Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to America's Racing Showplace at virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. LSRTV welcomes you to our coverage of Round 12 on the inaugural RoddCar Truck Tour Championship campaign for the Sim HQ Motorsports 200 at Las Vegas. Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, and Josh Ball along for the ride with you as always tonight on LSRTV and iRacing Live as we get set to embark on another Friday night doubleheader as we go through tonight's race and as well later on tonight the first race of the iSuper Chase for the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. Before we get there though, Andy, we haven't seen the trucks in quite some time. You know, we had an IROC race, we had an off week, but the truck's back in action tonight for the fourth to last race on the season, and we come to a racetrack that I personally love and I think it'll be a good race. Las Vegas, though, could be a track that a lot of guys have a love or hate relationship to. It's a very unique one of those intermediate racetracks.
Yeah, that it is. I mean, that front stretch kind of similar, I would say, to Chicago. You're always turning left going down the front straightaway, or if you can even call it a straightaway. But at the same time, you got turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4. They're totally different corners. Turns 1 and 2, there's lots of bumps on that bottom line. You'll be seeing these guys running that second groove or even higher through 1 and 2. But then that bottom side in turns 3 and 4, that's the place to be. Carry a lot of speed, but also with that comes a lot of loose conditions for these guys, even entering the corner. So we might see a lot of slipping and sliding with these guys. But overall, Las Vegas, always a great place to have a truck race.
There's tracks where we talk about these trucks, and you'll see the drivers out there, Josh, behind the wheel, almost not lifting and actually staying entirely on that gas for the whole time around. This is a fast racetrack, but there's not enough grip, especially when the sun's blaring down on it, for these guys to stay on the pedal all the way around. So it's a fast track, but it's one that I think would require some finesse tonight. These guys going to do battle 83 laps totaling out to just shy of about 125 miles or so in the range for this race. It should be an exciting one. It's another relatively long intermediate racetrack event to be able to get this one in inside of that 65-minute time window. Going to require a green flag pace to the race, which is something that we can see tonight at this track.
Yeah, definitely, Evan. You know, everybody's out there. You're getting fast times, just like you said, pretty much full throttle all the way around, at least for the first couple laps while everybody's tires are still pretty good. I think it'll come down to strategy tonight, see who's the best setup is on the more long run. Expect to see a lot of green flags, especially at this track, Las Vegas. So pretty much come down to maybe who has the best setup or maybe who has the best pit strategy at the end.
The drivers right now just wrapping up a 40-minute practice session. They'll then take to the track for their 5-minute qualifier, and it's open qualifying for tonight's race, as always, and it's exciting to see that because guys going to be trying to fight out there. Liking clean air is typically the thing that they go for, but the draft might not be all that bad of a factor depending on what situation, I guess, they find themselves in, trying to get the best lap that they can. We talked in Scott Stenzel, a name that we recognize from Monday nights with the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. Had the opportunity to talk to him after he put down a qualifying lap in the 2014 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race at this track, and he said, we're lucky it was scanned when it was because the bumps here now are a lot worse than the base model of the track that we're racing on in the sim, but it is still a factor. You get in there a little bit too hot, you bounce up the racetrack. The car has to handle good, the truck has to handle good as well. The big thing about this series that we talked about is the fact that the teams can work with each other off of a base setup that is provided for them, and then the teams can work together to modify from that and try to gain an advantage. So this is a racetrack that I would feel like you'd see teams be strong, and you obviously have to give, I guess, an upper hand to the bigger teams, but I feel like I would not be surprised to see groups of cars from different stables be running around each other tonight, because it is a track that allows you to change something up, gain a little bit of an advantage in that. And again, we talk about these trucks and the Xfinity cars. They're so much more momentum based, and I guess that's really a key to success, is keeping up momentum as opposed to a cup car. Even with the reduced horsepower, you can power it off just a little bit more. Josh said that you're going to have to be fluent on a long run as well. I think that's going to be a big key. So there's a lot of things these guys have to focus on as qualifying just now starts to begin.
Yes, tire wear, obviously a factor. The setup and getting over those bumps. Do you want to run that bottom side? Sometimes you might be forced down there if they got your chasing or you're faster than is running in that middle groove. So it's going to be something that you hope you get the setup right on. But being on those bumps in turns 1 and 2 are definitely going to be a factor. They can push you up the racetrack. They could also make that truck snappy loose coming off of the corner. So it's going to be all about the setup, and like Josh said, I think the long run setup's really going to dictate this one here tonight.
The qualifying now begins, 5 minutes on the board. We talk about, though, this is the fourth most last race on the year after tonight, rounds 13, 14, and 15 to crown a champion. Let's take a look at what the picture is coming into this race. Joshua Hanner, your championship leader, over top of Rod Flag with 17 points as you take a look at the championship standings, Andy. Ray Rittenau, the second, is right there in third. Matt Quick, 20 back in fourth, and Shane McEachin, fifth back, 38 points off. All those guys are still mathematically in it, but I think if you're Hanner, you got to be looking at Flag, Rittenauer, and Quick. 17, 19, and 20 points is a pretty good gap, but with 4 races to go, including tonight, that's really not a lot. And the thing that surprises me about those top 4 names is none of those drivers have been to victory lane.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that too, is obviously the wins are not a factor right now for those top 4, but to separate them even more for the opportunity for Josh Hanner to spread his points lead out, he might have to get a win here. He's going to obviously have to continue to run very consistent long with 6 top 5 for him. So Rod Flag chasing Josh Hanner. So it can flip-flop either way. There's still plenty of Hanner.
And the 12 best finishes of these 15 races in this inaugural Truck Championship count towards points. The drops technically going to become your 2 worst weeks that don't get counted to the total tally. Josh, as a driver, we talk about drop weeks. We talk about it on Tuesdays with the NASCAR iRacing. About those drops tonight, it doesn't. Do you have to go out there thinking that all 15 races are going to count to your total tally?
Yeah, you got to go out there and figure every race is going to count, because drop weeks sometimes help out, but you can't really count on them because, you may have a bad week, but then you don't know what everybody else has done. You don't know what Seth the Merchant or a Rod Flag has had, what their bad weeks were. So you can't go out there and, like Josh Hanner tonight, just run back near midfield and be like, all right, well, I can get a bad finish because, I'm 17 points ahead. I really don't have any bad finishes this year, so I'll take a drop week. You can't think like that. You got to go out there and try to win. So far, P5 on the standings and qualifying with about 1 minute and 15 seconds left. So far, it looks like he's got a pretty good idea of what he's got his truck dialed in for the night. Should be interesting to see on the long runs, as we were talking about, how everything goes, though.
We talked Tuesday that the road course in the Pro Series can be expected to be a drop for some people. There's no left after tonight. Phoenix, Texas, and Homestead through to the championship race, so it's game on at this point for these drivers. Brandon Chaburko searches a back-to-back win. If he can do so tonight, it would be the 5th driver to go back-to-back in the last 2 months of racing in the trucks, and we're about to get set for round number 12. So before we do, we'll throw things down now trackside for the LSRTV opening race ceremonies and a singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early rampart were streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
A big thanks to Jaden Berkey for the singing of the national anthem, and with that, we're ready to get the SimHQ Motorsports Las Vegas 200 underway. Let's take a look at the LSRTV starting grid for round number 12. How about a 30.385? It's the fastest lap on the night. Jason Altman's pole position behind the wheel of the number 51 truck. He'll lead us to the green flag for 83 laps tonight. Outside to him, you'll find your outside to pole sitter P2 for the 71. That's Christian Peterson. The 24 of Josh Hanner starting third tonight. Alongside him, the 43 of Stephanie Lessentied and Ryan Keese inside on row number 3 will round out your top 5 qualifiers.
Yeah, starting 6th tonight in that 42 machine. That's Seth the Merchant. Brandon Chaburko in the Goodwrench Chevrolet will start 7th. 8th goes to the 23 of Rod Flagg. James Pileski in the 93 will roll off 9th, and rounding out the top 10 tonight, the 92 of Rod Mitten.
On the inside of row 7, Shane McKeechin to his outside, number 41, Ryan Pylan. Rodney Wofford starts P13 with Jared Haggerty 14th, and Chad Keene round out top 15.
Jeff Figlin going to be back in a P16 tonight, 17th for Matt Quick, Matt Bontempi at 18th and 19th. Ray right now with the second and final driver to qualify in based on a qualifying time. First provisional goes to the 210 of Tom Moustakas, who is 20th. The fastest driver in practice is on the outside of row 10.
Starting 21st tonight, the 83 of Ramon Evans. Daniel Ferguson in the 25 will start 22nd. 23rd goes to the 088 of Ken Connolly. Chris Passini, the rookie, will start in the 24th spot. And Sean Turner will fill out the field in the 25th spot.
The 25 trucks, 13 rows deep as the trucks now roll from the qualifying grid. This Las Vegas Motor Speedway and asphalt surface at 1.5 miles in length, banking in the corners as well, right at about 12 or 20 degrees based on the repave as well, which happened a couple of years ago. We've broken this down a little bit, Josh. As a driver, what would be the key thing that you're going to have to be successful at tonight if you want to walk away with a trophy?
Managing tires. I think that's going to be the key tonight. I expect to see a lot of good fast track. Plenty of room here to get around. Lots of banking, so the guy should be able to move around a lot throughout the whole track. So I think everybody will be able to give each other room. It's really going to come down to who can save their tires the most and who's better on those long runs.
I'm noticing a common denominator as well, that tires are always of importance in these trucks. She got to make through the first lap to make it through lap number 83, and we're set to get underway. We'd like to have you with us on LSRTV at iRacing Live. The American Childhood Cancer Organization, a pace car, going to make the sharp left-hand turn, get down and get out of the way. It'll be the Geek Squad machine that will lead us to the green flag at a turn number 4 for the BestBuy.com Toyota Tundra, and we are racing at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Green flag flies. The SimHQ Motorsports 200 green down to turn number 1 at a good jump for the 51 on the bottom. He gets clear. He's got company. It's the Pepsi Cola Real Big Summer Chevy behind. That's Josh Hanner to the inside on Peterson for second.
You'll see that inside line be the line to be, especially for the drivers can run full throttle around this place. A little battle going on right behind our leaders, the 3 of Brandon Chaburko. Not sure what that early in the race, but that's gonna and Altman's into the wall on the front stretch. He's gonna lose a ton of momentum there. 4 trucks now, 5 are gonna make it around him as they enter turn 1.
I talked about the draft being something that you wanted in qualifying, Josh, but it looked like that worked against that 51. Get it up the speed. Hanner pulled up to the inside to turn 3. He was on the outside lane of the racetrack and just nicked that fence. He didn't get on the gas. I guess he got on the gas too soon, rather.
Yeah, and you can't usually, a lot of times in practice, you can't predict race conditions. These guys aren't running this close, this many trucks in practice normally. So when you get out there, your truck's going to definitely handle different. I'm sure these guys back in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th right now, somewhere like Rod Mitten sitting about P10, his truck is definitely hindering way different than it did in practice at all. So it should be interesting to see how these guys are able to sort it out, as Jason Altman looks like he fell back to around the 8th or 9th position. See if he can rebound here shortly.
And the damage on that truck not going to help him at all. Not really a concern of it damaging the truck physically, but just the fact that you hit the fence and might tighten it up or loosen it up and go against, again, what you've been driving on all night long. So he falls back to P10 by lap number 4, and it looks like he still doesn't quite have the speed getting back to the throttle. Topside for the 57 of Jared Haggerty. Haggerty going to pass the 92 as well, so Rod Mitten was looking to pass that 57, hesitated and lost the spot. The 57 took 2 of them at the same time. This battle going on outside of the top 10 as that number 57 continues to slide down the leaderboard.
He does, but pretty good battle just happened for that second spot. The 3 of Brandon Chaburka was able to get around Christian Peterson. Looks like Peterson's struggling a little bit. Pushed up the racetrack at turn number 1 there. Let's Set the Merchant now get by him. So Set the Merchant move him up to that 3rd spot now as they head down the back straightaway. Hanner, though, pulled out to about a 4 or 5 truck length lead currently as they run off of turn number 4. Chaburka, though, up to that 2nd spot already.
And I'm a fan of numbers. I mentioned if Chaburko could win, he was the last winner in the Truck Series back on the 13th of November at the Auto Club Speedway. Picked up his 3rd win on the season. He's the most winning driver so far in this 2015 campaign. He's trying to get the job done. Set the Merchant just behind him in overall wins. He's got 2 on the season at Kentucky, is that he has won at 2 intermediate racetracks. Brandon Chaburko yet to do that on the season, so the 42 knows what to do with these 1.5 mile tracks, and he's up to 3rd right now after starting back in P6.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks like Hanner's able to keep his lead out currently right now around 0.3 of a second. Nobody's really gaining or catching on him. Set the Merchant catching a little bit on Brandon Chaburko now. It seems like everybody's just single filing out throughout the whole field. You look back, a little bit of battle position right now between the 23 Rod Flag, James Plesky, and Ryan Pyland for the 7th, 8th, and 9th position. They're getting single filed up. So it seems like everybody's starting to get in the groove and just ride for a little while. See if we can get the green flag lap, see how their trucks are handling.
They try to spread things out. That's what your leaders are doing. Hanner with a 0.2 of a second gap over Chaburko. I'm not convinced that he's going to be able to hold that, though. The 3 car pedaling at a turn number 2 and down the Dallas straightaway to turn 3 closes the gap to just about 1.5, 2 truck lengths maybe into the corner. 3 pushes up a little bit on entry. It was a better set of turns for the 24 car. Down to the apron you go, Andy. That's completely fair play. It's a white line. Some guys don't like it. Some guys do. The 3 car chasing is making that shortcut, trying to make up time. The guy that doesn't do that would be the guy that is getting chased, arguing that he doesn't really want to use up his tires. But, I mean, at this point in the run, and again, it's still early. We know you have to keep those tires on the car, but Brandon Chaburko is showing by going down there, his concern is getting to the lead sooner rather than later. We ride on board with that Good Wrench Chevrolet at a turn 4 as he looks to the bottom.
Yeah, as he looks for the bottom to take a sniff at the lead, he's going to be able to get a nose underneath Josh Hanner right now. Currently, as they head into turn number 1, Hanner's going to let him go right there, and not going to really put up a fight. Obviously, saw the 3 truck was faster over the last few laps here, so Josh Hanner just going to sit there and ride, see if he can not. He typically has week after week a pretty good truck on the long run, so we'll see if he'll let him go. It's only been 10 laps in this run. We'll see what happens in the next 5 to 10 laps to see if that 3 truck really starts to lose some grip on that machine. We've seen him slide a couple times coming off of turn number 2, but he's been able to at least keep that under control for now. Brandon Chaburko, your new leader, all the way from 7th up to that top spot here early on.
And he was passing him about a truck per lap. He got the spot at lap number 10. Chaburko, not even a time in practice, came out into the 5-minute open qualifier session, got there, got the job done, and he's hustling. I talked about the fastest driver in practice, though, being on the outside of row number 10. That's Tom Moustakas, the 210 Toyota. Very fast at his Truck Series debut, now running in P11 as he comes back to this race. Now, we know he's got speed. He's shown that in this series in that start that he made. Starting back from P20, he's passed 9 trucks, but in front of him, a big party down the back straightaway inside of the racetrack. The number 41 of Ryan Pyland, he's got the 57 of Jared Haggerty on his bumper, and that's 2 wide, 2 rows deep with Rod Flag topside with the 10 car up there as well, and Ryan Keese.
Yeah, this battle's been going on for a little while, Evan. A couple laps ago, about 5 laps ago, they were all still side by side. And it just seems like all their trucks are handling exactly the same right now. Rod Flag, Keese, Haggerty, and Pyland. So, you know, they've been battling back and forth, changing positions all night. So, got a little bit of slow cars right up ahead of them right now. Looks like Stephanie Lessentine and possibly the 42 is Set the Merchant as well.
And right in front of them, you see that 42 up against the fence. Back end steps out a little bit, and they all go down to the apron to try to avoid Stephanie Lessentin, who mentioned the 43 car in P4 at the moment. Ron Flag's going to get that spot from her into turn number 1. She'll try to wind it up, get a run off the top side, banking down the backstretch, and it'll be a small advantage, and will allow her car to be able to get clear, so she retains P4. Flag back to P5. That puts Pyland in 6th. It's 7th right now for Keese. And Seth the Merchant, we talked about how good he was doing early, Andy, with those wins on the intermediate racetrack, and he was on the bumper of Brandon Chaburko, and I was more convinced, actually, that the 42 would be passing the 3 before the 3 passed the 24. Well, Chaburko passed Tanner to take the lead, and the Merchant's now fallen to 8th.
Yeah, he has. It looks like he's handling ill-handling truck currently. It looks like he's loose off each corner right now. Loses some ground currently right now, again, to the 210 of Moustakis as he drops to the inside. And you can just see that 42 on that top side. You can see that back end just wiggling all throughout the whole corner. So obviously a loose race truck right now for Seth the Merchant. And loose is typically fast, but when you're wrecking loose, you're definitely going to lose some time. And he is doing that currently right now as James Pileski now takes another spot away from DeMerchant. DeMerchant now going to try to run that high side, still continuing off of turn 2 to have a bad handling race truck.
When it rains, it pours, and you continue to just slide on back and back. The next driver that would get to DeMerchant would be Haggerty. If he does lose that spot, that would drop DeMerchant outside of the top 10. So I mentioned Tom Moustakis from 20th to 11th. He's now gone 20th to 8th. He picked up 3 more spots in the last couple of laps. A sleeper in all of this, though, that I'm looking at, but Ryan Pyland. 12th fastest truck in practice, 12th in the Q session, but he is up right now in P6. And just as we say that, the back end comes around, and he grabs that outside wall with the right rear of the truck, Josh. It brings the front end around. He kind of gets stuck in the fence. So for that 41 Chevrolet, he'll lose at least 2 spots. It looked like Keese and Moustakis got around him, and now Pileski's right there. So you work 15 laps to pass 6 trucks, and you lose 2 of them at about 15 seconds.
Yeah, as you see the replay going up right here right now, you know, it looks like he just got a little bit loose. It should be interesting to see because Ryan Pyland, Josh Hanner, Stephanie Lessentin are all on Junior Motorsports starting next season. I know they've been working together already, so it'll be interesting to see if Hanner and Lessentin's setup is as loose as Pyland's is, or maybe Pyland just used up his tires at the beginning of the run. As we were noting, they were running side by side for a while for 5 to 10 laps, so that could have been part of the issue.
And that 41 caught the fence, and again, much like we saw a little bit further up in front of the field when a truck caught the fence, they couldn't quite get the handling back. Well, it appears to be the same story for the 41. Minor aero damage, but the truck just not going to be as good. It might tighten it up a little bit. So Pileski passes Pyland, and now after getting up to P6, he's fallen all the way back down to 9th. He's lost half of the ground that he made up. Josh Hanner's number 24 Chevy, though. Brandon Chaburko passed him. We said that was a smart move because Hanner used up the tires trying to block him. That 24 is not fallen back to second and fallen back. I mean, he's right on the bumper of the 3 truck right now and actually had been closed in the last couple of laps. So the top 2 pull it away from Christian Peterson in 3rd on back. That's a side-by-side fight for that final step on the podium. Lessentin, who was just under attack for P4, she's now on the attack for P3. Not going to get it on the bottom. Now it's a 3 truck fight. Here comes Rod Flag into the picture. 3 drivers wanting that number 3 spot.
That's a great battle right now with Lessentin now on the bottom side. Christian Peterson struggling just a bit. He has been for the last couple of laps. It's allowed Stephanie Lessentin to close in, and now she's still trying to fight with him. It's still side by side right now. That high side giving Peterson a fighting chance currently with the momentum he can carry off of the corner. Entering the corner, though, Stephanie Lessentin definitely a solid truck right now as Rod Flag looks on, and probably disappointment in the fact that he can't go anywhere at the moment. And right behind them, look who's also caught up into the picture. Tom Moustakis in that 210 truck working his way up through this field rather nicely here. Rather easily also, it looks, though. He's got a really fast race truck tonight. We're going to have to keep an eye on him as this one goes on. But Christian Peterson losing 2 spots right there. He's going to fight back down the inside to Rod Flag, but it's not going to be enough currently this early in the run.
And I'm not surprised that when that 43 truck got topside, she was able to make that move. So Stephanie Lessentin to 3rd, the 71 of Christian Peterson, squirrely off the corner. Look at Tom Moustakis, started 20th, P5, now P4, as he inches his nose in front of Rod Flag. It'll be 3 wide if they catch the lap truck topside in time. That's the number 89 of Matt Quick. It'll tighten up the corner exit for everybody. Flag is just able to dive to the bottom. It opens up the door, though, for Peterson, and just one lap truck, and just like that, collect about 4 or 5 different lead lap cars. All of them got to jack up, and now through all of that, Moustakis gets clear, and Rod Flag is left to deal with that 71 of Peterson as well. The 10 of Ryan Kisu is right here in the battle.
Yeah, definitely. And by far, Tom Moustakis has the fastest truck out there. He has gained on the leader every lap since I've been looking at him for the last 10 laps. He has come all the way from 20th place starting, and he's up to 4th. He just passed all 3 of those cars or trucks like there was no problem. He just got right around him. Now he's setting his sights on Stephanie Lesenstein in the 43. I won't think it's too long before we see him up battling for the lead here in the next couple laps with Brandon and Josh Hanner.
He gets clear of that 3-4 truck melee for P5. The next objective is to get to the 43 of Stephanie Lesenstein. Lesenstein, rookie to the series. Technically, all the drivers are, but it's the first season of the RoddCar Truck Tour. But a rookie to this group of drivers as well. Again, all the same names you'll see later on tonight in part 2 of our Friday night sim racing doubleheader on LSRTV 2. It is the first race of the iSuper Chase coming up later tonight from Daytona. Lesenstein, 2 top 5s on the season, running 3rd right now at the moment, on track for a 3rd. She wants to get her first win, though, in the trucks at her hometown track, doing a pretty good job right now. Pit stops, though, coming up, and Josh Hanner brings the Pepsi Cola Chevy down from pit road. He comes in from 2nd spot, the first swing of service, lap number 25.
That's going to be the first one to come down pit road. I'm sure it's not going to take long for the rest of the leaders to follow him in. Brandon Chaburko over the radio, he's saying he's coming in this time by. Hanner, though, I can imagine 4 tires, fuel for these guys. They're not going to waste any time here on pit road taking 2 tires. That's not going to be the call tonight. You're obviously not going to be fast enough once you get back on the racetrack. So 4 tires and fuel for the 24. He's out and away. A good stop by that crew right there. Gets him back out on the racetrack.
Brandon Chaburko comes down to the pit lane at 50 miles an hour, clocked at about 56 at the cone. That might be close for a speeding penalty, Josh, as he comes in to get his service.
Yeah, and Josh Hanner kind of forced everybody's hand right there. At the beginning of the run, they've fallen off over close to 2 seconds total from the beginning of the run. So a lot of these guys, as soon as Hanner came in, a lot of the front guys kind of forced their hand. They have to come down now, otherwise they're going to be losing a lot of time to that 24. So I expect to see pretty much everybody that was in the lead come down. Stephanie Lesenstein still out there, Rod Flag, Ryan Keese. But it looks like Josh Hanner dropped all the way back to 21st position, 1 lap down right now, but he should be able to get back up to the field once pit stops cycle out.
And it's funny because you talk about pit stops, and if you think of pit stops under a caution flag, Andy, you think that kind of messes with everybody because the pace of the race has been slowed. You think we get the green flag pit stops, everything's normal, but that's basically not the case for the majority. You see Stephanie Lesenstein come down pit road. You mentioned Josh Hanner making everybody else have to force their cards out. Somebody pits, you have to come down and pit because they're going to be back out there the next lap with the lap time 1 to 2 seconds quicker than you per lap. So you'll see some guys maybe outside the top 10, outside the top 15, stay out for 5-10 extra laps if they can on fuel to hope for a caution, because during pit stop cycles, it's one of the times where you're more likely to see a yellow. Although green flag pit stops is considered a relatively calm part of the race, a whole lot happens with the strategy behind that. Stephanie Lesenstein stays out about 2-3 additional laps before she gets service. She's back out of the pit lane. We'll see where she blends out. She was P4 before she took over the race lead there after the pit stops began.
Yeah, she was about 2 seconds, a little over 2 seconds behind the leader, Brandon Chaburko. So we'll see where she stacks out now. Obviously, they've already gotten around her. We'll just see as things, the scoring obviously has to update. It'll take a couple laps to do that. But Stephanie Lesenstein back out on the racetrack. She's got a fast truck. She's able to maintain her spot in that top 5 there for that whole beginning part of the race there. But she's definitely, by her staying out there, has already lost about 4 or 5 seconds to the race leader, or to who was the race leader there, Brandon Chaburko. So it definitely shows right there. She lost some time by staying out those couple extra laps. The only thing that might benefit her if she does that a couple times, she might be able to make it on one less stop than these guys. So when I try to do my math here.
Well, definitely don't look to me for any numbers on that, but I mean, that sounds about right. Josh, you're looking at maybe 3 additional laps she stays out. Maybe if the tires fall off anywhere from 1.5 to 2 seconds from lap 1 to lap 20 on a run, there's your 5 seconds just like that.
Exactly. And, one thing that's puzzling me a little bit is Tom Moustakis is still out there. Whether he had pretty much the fastest truck, I think, going through the cycle. That first coming up from 20th, and he's still out there on those old tires. I don't know. We talked about earlier in the race there might be some pit strategy. Maybe he's trying to just go on a one-stop pit race or a one-stop pit. So I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting to see. He's out there running pretty slow times right now. He's in the 32-second bracket, whereas Brandon Chiburko's last lap was a 31 flat. So he's about 1.5 seconds to 1 3/4 seconds off of the leader that before the pit stops, which Brandon Chiburko's now sitting 7th.
Chiburko's 7th at the moment. Moustakis scored in P6, and you talk about the lap time differential there last time. 1.7 seconds quicker on the lap for Brandon Chiburko. Moustakis got his service completed at lap number 28. He came down pit road, but rolled all the way through his pit stall. Didn't even come down to the pit lane, which is extremely confusing because you see him come down. If you miss your stall, Andy, you come down the next time and get serviced. If you're trying to do it on a one-stop strategy or a two-stop strategy, depending on how many pit stops these guys are going to make total tonight, if you come down pit road and mess that up, I guess you kind of have to stay out and try to stretch it. But by slowing down and doing pit road speed from turn 4 to turn 1, that makes that what would be a stretch on strategy of maybe trying to cut a pit stop off it, makes it that much more improbable because what you're hoping on there is you're going to have older tires for a lot of this race, which means you're going to be a lot slower than those guys who make those additional pit stops. So you need time, you need consistent speeds. So that mistake that we see out of the 210 truck, who, as Josh mentioned, probably by far and large the fastest truck here tonight, had gotten up to a top 5 spot, missing his pit stall could have just taken away a race win from him.
Yeah, I'm just really confused about that, why he didn't come back down the next time around. I'm not sure exactly what he's thinking in his mind, except maybe now at this point realizing he messed up. Well, I might as well just run this fuel tank out completely, which should be about any lap now right now. So only a 70% fuel load for these guys, not even a full tank. So the laps itself can't obviously run as long as you could on a full tank. So I'm just really in shock of what exactly he's thinking at the moment as far as what his strategy is going to be the rest of the race. But we can see Jason Altman's right now currently your leader. He obviously came down pit road a little early than everybody else, so I would imagine another 10 or 12 laps you'll probably see him on pit road for fuel and tires again. So just for Altman's right now, just trying to at least stay up front as long as he can currently, but he did come for an unscheduled stop earlier.
And that put him out of cycle, so he got back out there with fresh tires right away. That gave him the gap. So he is by far and large not the fastest truck out there, but he's got Shane McEachin right with him. The number 28 Haviland machine started 11th tonight. He's running in second position in that 28 Toyota. I mean, right on the bumper. So although these guys aren't necessarily on the same cycle as everybody that is pitted, which would be Brandon Chiburko P1, P2 would be Josh Hanna right now, though that means a P3 and a P4. They're about 9 to 11 seconds back. These two battling for the race lead in 1 and 2.
Yeah, and they definitely might have a strategy here. Jason Altman's, we're just screwing this up tonight. But Jason Altman's, he qualified first. He had the second fastest truck in practice. So, he might not be. Actually, here he comes. Him and Shane McEachin both coming down pit road to get their fuel done. Oh, speeding a little bit, possibly skidding the tires there as Jason Altman's comes to a slow down in pit road. Hopefully didn't get a penalty, but now that they are both in, it should cycle around. Brandon Chiburko takes back over the lead. Josh Hanna, Christian Peterson, Pileski, and Stephanie Lissentine will round out the top 5.
And I'm taking a look at Jason Altman's race strategy through this one, and I know we got a report that he had an unscheduled pit stop. I don't think that 51 had come down at all tonight. I think he is just in for the first time tonight getting service done. The truck into the stall, 2 tires on the right, 2 tires on the left. It'll be a 4-tire stop, gas and go. He does sit in there for that speeding penalty that Josh mentioned could be applied to him, so that is going to kill the strategy. But Altman's had not pitted, neither had Shane McEachin. That's why they were out in front. So based on those fuel numbers coming in just shy of lap number 40, I still think that if they ran that truck to the end of it, they ran it bone dry, that's about 3 or 4 laps short, Andy, from making it to the end, unless they're short pitting this one a little bit and they are able to go 43 laps on fuel. If they can, that means it's 2 stops for them versus 3 stops for everybody else. So those guys, they were in communication. They were on a different strategy from everybody else.
Yeah, they definitely were, and that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, the speeding penalty is going to hurt him. It might possibly still give him the race lead, but it's definitely not going to put a huge gap between him and, say, the 3 truck of Brandon Traberco. So he's going to have his work cut out for him if, obviously on the old tires when this thing comes down, trying to save fuel in those last few handful of laps. He'll have to do that in to try to make it to the end. So. It's probably going to be tough for him to hang on to the lead, but he probably could still end up with maybe a solid top 5 finish with it. So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, listen, a caution at any point from now until then will definitely change everything.
And just thinking out loud in this, if those guys were able to go about 40 laps or so, and you're banking on them to stretch it, they have to be thinking about a 1-stop race, Josh, instead of a 2-stop versus a 3, because we saw our leaders come down and pit early. We know tires are important, so obviously a shorter stint is going to make you faster per stint, but it takes a lot more time. I don't see any reason why Brandon Traberco needs to pit 2 more times, because I mentioned if those guys went 40 laps, right now there's less than 40 laps to go in this race. So I don't think there would be any reason for Traberco, who's leading, who has completed 1 stop already, to have to pit more than just 1 additional time. So those 2, although their numbers aren't quite correct at the moment, those 2 that we saw come down pit road, McEachin, and as well the guy who got penalized, Jason Altman, who's now 21st 1 lap down, they're hoping that that's their only stop on the race.
Yeah, and I think Shane McEachin probably still has a shot at it. He's He didn't have a speed on penalty there, so I think, with his strategy, he's currently on the backstretch about, 9 to 10 seconds in front of Jason Altman's. I think there's no problem where he should be able to make it possibly on no more stops. So that should be interesting to see if it plays out that way if we stay green. But I don't know, Brandon and Josh Hanner and those guys up front, they've been knocking some pretty stout lap times down. So, even if Shane, is able to stay out, he only had about 10 seconds on them the last stop. So there could be 5 seconds next time. That might not be able enough to hold off for the win, but it should be interesting to see. Caution right now would definitely throw a huge wrench in everything. We got about 14 cars left on the lead lap, actually less than that now, 12. So we're about just past the halfway point, so it should definitely be interesting coming to the end.
Pit cycles just now get rounded up, and they are about to get back going in a moment. 6 laps past the halfway point. Let's take a look at your iRacing.com Midway Race Leaderboard, presented by iRacing.com, the leader in motorsport simulations, and official sim racing partner of NASCAR. Brandon Traberco out in front. Caution flag. There is the curveball that'll change this one up. Spinner down the back straightaway, the 57 of Jared Haggerty. And we will get to the rundown in a moment. We'll be able to do it under the yellow, Andy, because there's a caution, and I'm blaming you for that one.
It is. Listen, I have a bad jinx to everybody. That's why I don't like doing race picks. That's why I don't like calling out cautions like that. But just a self-spin right there for the 57 of Haggerty. I'm very surprised, honestly, to see that. I'm not sure. He's got some right-side damage. I'm sure if he hit the wall a lap or 2 before this, we'd have to take a peek. But yeah, just flat out lost it himself there off of turn number 2, and that's not going to be what he needs to help himself out here in this one to get him back into it. Obviously, a lap down currently, and under this caution here, damage to fix is going to be a tough one for him to bounce back.
We talk about the risk of staying out a couple of extra laps when the guys begin the pit stops and then you come down, you end up a lap down. Well, that's what happened to Shane McEachin, who was trying the strategy, as well as Jason Oatmans with this caution flag, Josh. They may be able to get away by if both leaders come down, but this basically kills what they were trying to do.
Yeah, but I think that's actually the best thing that could happen for Jason Riot. Jason, what am I doing tonight? I am just drunk or something. Jason Allmans. Oh, man. Jason Allmans, that's probably the best thing that could happen for him. You know, after that speeding penalty, he was pretty far back there. So I don't think that strategy would have worked for him. Also, another lucky dog there will probably be Tom Moustakis. And he'll be able to get the wave around, hopefully, and we'll get back on the lead lap. So he might be able to get up there again and challenge for the lead. So this caution flag definitely throws that big wrench into it that we were talking about.
And if they get back to the lead lap, they won't be able to complete service on this caution flag if they elect to stay out to take the wave by. So what they want is a quick caution following this, and to be able to then come down, get serviced, get 4 fresh Goodyear Wranglers, and get rocketed rolling. So Brandon Chiburko, though, is right now scored as your race leader. A big wrench thrown into the strategy of this race, but it's the good wrench. Chevrolet out in front. We'll step away for a moment, go LSRTV nonstop, and back for the restart in just a few. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the RoddCar Truck Tour, Sim HQ Motorsports, Las Vegas 200 on iRacing Live.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks and terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Working under our first caution flag on the evening at the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and the lights on top of the American Childhood Cancer Organization Ford Mustang GT pace car have been extinguished, and we get set to go back at it. Brandon Chiburko does get the race lead back, and he'll be on the inside of the racetrack following a cycle of yellow flag pit stops. Josh Hanner topside second, Stephanie Lessentine, James Pileski, and Christian Peterson, your top 5 trucks. The pace car down and away at a turn number 4. Through the restart zone we go. American Ethanol, green flag flies back underway. A great restart for your race leader, but good topside for the 24 of Josh Hanner. He's right there with him as we stack up for P10 or 12. 3 wide back in the pack. They double file it out. The leaders race at a 2.
A good battle off of turn number 2. Stephanie Leslie going to take over that second position over Josh Hanner. She's going to want to look to the inside now. Chaburko's ahead into turn number 3. A good run right now showing on this lap right here for the 43 truck. She's doing a great job right now as the inside lane starting to take into effect. Here comes Peterson now to the inside of Hanner. He wants that third position. A great battle right here for that top spot. Second, third, fourth, fifth, all clammed up together.
Oh, 4 wide to turn 1. The 42 of Seth the Merchant splits the gap, goes topside, and I'm pretty sure Seth the Merchant just passed 4 trucks in 200 feet. He goes to the outside to make that pass. Ryan Keese in the fence down the backstretch. He is slowed. That's what made it 4 wide. He caught the safer barrier in turn 1. I think they all make it through turn number 4 for the time being. Still a lot going on outside of the top 5, top 10. The battle, though, is in front. Stephanie Lesentine takes second spot away. James Pileski wants it. He wants the lead. To the inside on Lesentine, to the inside on Chaburko. Drag race down the Dallas straightaway.
Oh man, it's everywhere, racing all around the track. Cars in the wall. We got a battle for the lead. Pileski still on the inside of Chaburko. Chaburko's got the preferred lane off the corner, though. He's going to have a good run here. He's going to take back over the lead. And not that he ever lost it, but definitely had a battle there behind him. Looks like a couple other cars coming up through the field. Shane McKeechin up to 8th place now. Tom Mustakis back in the mix already. Up to P9th after those pit stops. So everybody getting back in it. Got racing all over the field. Jason Ryan back up into the top 10 as well.
The battling continues, not inside the top 5, but inside of the top 10. Seth the Merchant's number 42 started P6, passed 3 trucks early, caught the fence, dropped back. Kind of the same song and dance on this second stint. He passed 3-4 trucks when they were 3 wide, and now he's sliding backwards. Shane McKeechin to the inside of the racetrack. The Haviline machine making a move on him. He's got company behind. That 210 that Tom Mustakis, Andy, is somebody that I'm really interested in. Back here in P number 9, he's behind a side-by-side fight. He got the tires back on that truck after he got waved by under the caution flag, got service completed, so he's got to do what he did in the opening 40 laps and closing 30, and that's past 9 more guys.
Yeah, that's definitely someone to watch. He's got a second chance at this race. I'll put it pretty bluntly right there. Is that mistake early on, just driving down pit road, missing his stalls, staying out there. Just a mistake right there. He didn't need. Fastest truck on the racetrack he was in that first half of the race. So we'll see what he can do now with his second chances. He's still battling hard right now with Seth the Merchant into turn number 3. They're still side by side. He's trying to take advantage of that. Looks like he's going to get him clear, though, off turn 4. So move up Tom Mustakis now up to that 8th spot, and now we can focus in on Shane McKeechin.
Single file it out and get to do battle. Stephanie Lesentine looked like she was going to go to the race lead. She pushed Brandon Chaburko down the backstretch, 2 laps off of the restart. Fallen to 3rd, though, after Pileski got that move on her, and it looked like it was a 24-hander on the bottom of the racetrack that was going to get another spot. However, the top side with the banking give it a big advantage. We saw that's how Chaburko maintained the race lead, and that's how Lesentine held off that 24-hander. Josh is just getting that big run down the banking on the top side of the racetrack. It's not the shortest way around, but it's the fastest, I would say.
Yeah, definitely with the tires right now, people are probably trying to save a little bit. The high side is going to give you a little bit more grip throughout the whole run if you stay up there. So a lot of people trying to save some rubber. I don't know. James Plessy, the first time we've seen him up there tonight, he might be trying to give it all he has right now. As Mustakinas on the inside of that 28, looking for P6. He is already up 3 spots from just 2 or 3 laps ago.
He wants that P6 from Shane McKeechin. He passes Rod Flag that last lap. Flag now back to P8, exactly where he started. The 23 Chevrolet with another solid and consistent run going for the second place driver in the championship. Mustaka still low side to the 28 of McKeechin. Gets that run topside as we've been talking about. Not enough to get clear though. And when that 210 can keep the nose at the left rear, can try to bring some speed off of the 28. Not the best entry to turn number 3. They'll stay battling. In front of them, it is still Stephanie Lesentine, not giving up P2. She goes topside. Not normally do you make a pass on somebody, Andy, and get to the outside of the racetrack. Normally, because of the arc everybody takes, you go to the bottom, and that's the problem is we saw her try to get the race lead in contact. She's in the fence, down the hill and around, and big accident. Caution flag will fly, and we'll slow them down at lap number 61, and it won't be tonight for Stephanie Lesentine. The caution flag is out. And that goes back to that unconventional way to pass. She tried to get the race lead earlier. It was on the bottom, not the preferred lane. You don't normally get a nose to the outside of somebody. She did that time. The 93 didn't give her a whole lot of room, and he pushed up and put her in the fence.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate right there for Stephanie Lessentine. She's been fast over the, since she's come into this league. She's shown a lot of speed, been running in the top 5. She just can't catch a break to say for anything, even in the iSuper Speedway series. Just seems to, run up front, but always seems to find that bad luck. So unfortunate for her right there. Exactly what happened there. Pileski just got a little tight coming off the corner. Got up into her. Didn't take much. There's not much room up there when you're running that high side. You're right up against that wall on the exit of the corner. So any slight bobble by that driver on the bottom side is just definitely not going to help the situation out right there. She had the run. She definitely had a faster line on that high side. But just an unfortunate thing that happens in racing. People make contact. It is what it is, and just not her night. Again, it still continues.
The only positive is that the car didn't get hit when she was spun around, so the truck is not as badly hurt as it could have been, but definitely beat up and out back at the tail of the lead pack of cars. 23 drivers down to the pit lane. They're led by Brandon Chubarko down to pit stall number 7 as your race leader. I'm expecting 4 more.
Yeah, nobody's going to try 2 tires on this one, are they, Josh?
Well, there might be a couple people out there to try it, but it looks like it's not, as Brandon Chubarko wins a race off pit road, followed by Pileski. Looks like that's Mustakinow's out there in 3rd. Christian Peterson, Josh Hanner. So I'm not sure about Mustakinow's. He might have taken 2 there to get up to the front. But it sounds like we got a report down on pit road that he actually got 4. That's just blazing fast, though.
And down in and back out with 4 tires and away, Brandon Chubarko is going to take over the race lead. You'd want to talk about somebody that's taken advantage of the situation. A 13-second pit stop for Jason Oltmans. The reason I'm not surprised is because he was your pole sitter. That number 1 pit stall always helps you out a little bit, helps him getting off of the pit lane, but you combine that good spot with cutting almost a second, if not 2 seconds, off of what you expect of service inside of the box, Andy. It's pretty good, and I feel like he'll pick up at least 1 or 2 spots from that.
Yeah, his team did a great job on that round. Exactly what he needed this late in the race. Get himself a little more track position. Every car you can pass on the pit road, that's one less you have to worry about on the racetrack. So a good job by his crew right there. Puts him up into that 6th spot here on the restart. So a great job by his crew right there. Picks him up a couple spots, 2 or 3 spots it is on there. But that one guy, I'm watching him all race, made that mistake. He's got a second chance at it. The guy in 3rd right now, that 210 of Tom Moustakis, he's in a position now. He's going to restart on the bottom side right behind the 3 truck. He's got a good chance to take over this race lead with how fast his truck's been all night long.
And Josh, nothing against you, but I kind of want Brandon Chubarko to win this race just like I wanted Greg Hooks to win the Season 4 iSuper Speedway Championship because I'm a fan of trends. Brandon Chubarko, as we said, won our last truck race on the 13th of November. He's got 3 on the year. If he wins tonight, it would be the 2nd time that he's won 2 races in a row. But we have not had a different race winner, or rather more than 2 different guys, I guess, win a race within 3 weeks since the 2nd race on the year in Atlanta. Ryan Pyland won our season opener. Shane McEachin won in Atlanta. Then Christian Peterson won Darlington and Charlotte. Brandon Chubarko won Dover and Michigan. Seth the Merchant won Kentucky, then Chicago. Logan Clampett won Iowa and Kansas. Chubarko won Fontana. He's leading Las Vegas, all in that order.
Yeah, and this is going to be the race of the night right here. Just as we were trying to talk about, if Tom Moustakis could get up there, now he's there. He's on the back bumper of that number 3 truck, Brandon Chubarko. Obviously, these 2 have been the class of the field tonight. We've seen Tom back in the pack, so I'm not sure if his truck is better in traffic or maybe it'll be better out front. It just really depends on how he's got it set up. So, but on this caution, he's going to be right behind him. Pileski to the outside with Christian Peterson there all night. Also, the pole sitter, Jason Altman's back up to P6. So with that fast pit stop, he's also back up there and ready for a race. Hopefully, maybe he could pull it off.
We talked about strategy in this race, and if we went green all the way, we might be done by this point. We went over half the race caution-free. The last 2 cautions have completely changed the situation that these drivers find themselves in. Tom Moustakis should in no way be in third right now. He came down pit road, missed his stall, forced into a one-stop strategy. He was outside the top 20 15 laps ago. He is third. Does he have the raw speed? We know it's been good enough to power through from 20th to 3rd. Is it fast enough to challenge the other 2 fastest trucks on the night? James Pileski in 2nd. That started in 9th. And your race leader, Brandon Chiburko, that started in 7th. It could be for the final time tonight, and it'll come with 18 laps to go. Pace car down and away. Brandon Chiburko leads us into the American Ethanol restart zone, and underway we go. Green flag flies, back underway. He'll ride the white line down to turn number 1. Pileski tried to guesstimate that start, didn't quite do it. That's normally bad news. He locks out, though, ducks down in front of the 210 for P2.
Yeah, he's able to take advantage of the slow start by the 210. Tom Moustakis on that restart, having a little bit of issues right there. Pileski can take advantage of it, get that 2nd spot. Now Moustakis, he's got the 71 of Peterson on his outside right now. It looks like Moustakis almost gave a shot to Pileski there into turn number 3 right now. Here comes Peterson, though, on the outside to battle for thirds, heating up side by side with Hanner looking on from behind.
And you know it's time to go because everybody that was on the bottom that time, they took it to the apron. Look at the 93 of Pileski from the outside. He ducks to the bottom. He'll split the gap to the inside of Chiburko across the nose of Tom Moustakis. It is side by side for the race lead down to turn number 3. Behind them, Christian Peterson to the inside on Moustakis. The inside for neither of those drivers works. Top side prevails. It's still Chiburko P1 as he dashes down.
Oh, we got it right behind him. We got, looks like Matt Bontempi around on the front stretch there. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he goes around, got into the 088 of Kent Connolly. Unfortunately, just got him on the right rear corner panel there, as you can see in the replay, and just into the outside wall. So another wrench goes into the equation here. We're going to probably have around 10 laps to go once we get restarted. So definitely going to come down to a good finish here.
I mean, you look at the tape, and it's Kent Connolly who turns down and just demolishes the 2080, but again, that's the front straightaway. We don't normally talk about it at tri-ovals. We talk about it a lot more at the quad ovals, the racetracks where the front stretch has maybe 3 distinct sections, 2 distinct kinks to it. This is a very progressive left-hand turn. I think the 20 car was making that move to the bottom, and Kent Connolly expecting him to make a quicker turn into the bottom of the racetrack like all the other drivers did, and just a simple miscommunication causes quite a hit for both those guys.
Yeah, it's a tough break right there for Matt Bontempi, but in 088 of Connolly. But, you know, I don't know if we can pinpoint anybody as to blame. Just one of them racing deals coming off the corner. It could be a multiple of things. Bontempi maybe getting a little loose off the corner, chasing it up the racetrack, and maybe the 88 getting a little loose and trying to overcorrect it coming down a little bit. So tough break right there for both of those guys. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. A good thing that didn't collect too many more trucks there. And we'll get these guys all lined back up here. Nobody coming down pit road this time. So they're going to stay out, choose that track position currently, but some of the guys mid-pack back, they'll come down, get some tires, maybe hopefully get themselves a little bit of an advantage and get back up in to the top 5 before this thing's all said and done. But the leaders, what they got now is what's going to get them to the end.
And this is going to bring us into the range of about 12 laps to go, or 11 by the time we get back at it. P14, the first driver to come in. That's Chris Bazzini. Guys behind in for service as well as for damage repairs. Chiburko's out in front, though. The lights are on the pace car, and we'll get our final commercial break during racing flag conditions. Out of the way, we step away and back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway when we return for the conclusion of the SimHQ Motorsports Las Vegas 200, part of the RoddCar Truck Tour on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Our research shows drivers want a league with no
cheating,
kids wrecking me,
admin favoritism, multiple fast repairs,
intentional wrecks.
Drivers we interviewed also want a league with
clean competitive racing, clear-cut rules,
enjoys having all the drivers,
a full field of drivers,
end of year cash purse.
Follows the rules on a constant basis.
At Domino's TYJ Racing, we listen to the drivers and created a league with high integrity and professionalism just like Domino's Pizza has maintained for the last 55 years. Claim your share of the over $3,000 purse by applying today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com for one of the few remaining Cup car rides or your seat in our action-packed truck series.
Yo, I dropped the 88. Ricky Bobby, shake and bake. Sleeping on it, should've stayed awake, huh?
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Back live at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, Josh Ball with you topside on LSRTV and iRacing Live. About to hand out the 12th win on the inaugural RoddCar Truck Tour campaign, and it comes with Brandon Chiburko and James Pileski going to be leading the field back to it. 12 laps to go to decide the winner of this one, and still with 23 of the 24 trucks that started this race on the lead lap, we are far from done. As the pace car gets out of the way, it could be for the final time tonight. Chiburko in control to the American Ethanol restart zone. He takes us. Green flag drops from atop the flag stand. Back underway we go at a masterful start. Topside for James Pileski. The 71 pushes the 93. The 210 pushes the 3. It's still too wide all the way through the top 12 cars in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, great battle for second, heating up. Moustakis down to the bottom side. He's got a nose on the inside of Pileski. Here comes Peterson now, looking to make it 3 wide. No, it's only going to be 2 wide. He pushes Moustakis up to the high side. Now Moustakis going for second on the high side. Pileski on the bottom. Nose to tail, side by side off of turn number 4. A great run for that 210 on the outside. Can he get him cleared coming out of turn number 2? We will see as they head back in to turn number 1.
Looks like the inside going to allow the 93 to dive it in. I was going to say that would be good news for Chiburko. Going to pull away. They'll run it around. 3 wide for the race lane down the back straightaway. Chiburko lost a lot of speed in 1 and 2. He tries to shut the door. No, the 93 is there. He'll push Pileski down to the apron to hang on to it.
Here comes Pearson on the back bumper of Moustakis. Now he's looking to go 3 wide with him and Pileski. There's just no more room as Chiburko gets out to a 2-truck car length lead.
Eventually, they're going to run out of room, and still another close call. The 93 of Pileski, Moustakis get close. That side-by-side fight for second, and it should have been great news for Brandon Chiburko, but the 3 lost so much time, he about lost the race in that because he got checked up, and he blocked the inside of the 210 and a 93, shut the door on those guys real quick, and I'm sure there was contact. None of them lose control. Look at the block by the 93. Pileski shuts the door as Moustakis tries to go low.
They're trying everything they can right now. Oh, caution out.
And we'll do it again. The caution flag is out. It's Matt Quick in turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like Matt Quick, unfortunately, on the front stretch there, just got a little bit into Shane McKeechin coming down the front straightaway. Maybe both apart on a little bit of both their parts, as you can see the replay. It looks like Shane came up a little bit into Matt Quick as Matt Quick was coming down. But it looks like it was just pretty much a 2-car incident. The 87 Ray Rittenauer may have gotten a little bit of that as well, but unfortunately going to have to line it up again for some more crazy racing.
And after that, I'm interested to see what they'll do, but it'll be the final restart. This race, 83 laps in total distance. We still have a little bit over 15 minutes left good on the clock, so we'll see this race raced out to its entirety. Question is if that is under green flag or yellow flag conditions will be the debate. Chiburko might not have to go more than 200 feet to win this race if a caution comes that quickly, which would not surprise me, Andy, based on what they just did. But if they could race like that all the way through and finish under green flag, would not surprise me because of what they just did, because they probably should have junked him in there. That was a hell of a fight inside the top 3.
Yeah, we're very fortunate, I think, for those guys that all 3 of them aren't just a big pile of sheet metal on pit road right now. So some great racing by those guys, and some blocking going on, some stuff that you typically don't see at these 1.5-mile tracks, but it's some great racing right there. You know what? But they're respectfully doing it. It's not, it's not very malicious on any part. It's very great, very good racing. Just hard racing, trying to protect their positions and, trying to take away that preferred line of the other guy. If they're running well on the top side, they're moving up high to block that lane, and it's just some great racing right here. And I hope they can finish it out in the green the way they've been racing these last few laps. That was just fun to watch right there.
And I know we kind of briefly talked about this, I guess, amongst ourselves under the last caution flag. Josh, who do you think's going to win this one? With that 3 at Cheburko up front, you got Pileski and Moustakis inside the top 3, which are the obvious focus of this, but not to get lost. Still Christian Peterson, Josh Hanner, the top 5. You got Seth the Merchant, P6. I think once you get any further than that, you're starting to get to the range of, I don't think 3 or 4 laps is going to be enough time for them to do something, but something can happen up front on the white flag, and it's next man to the checkered flag, so who knows?
I tell you, there's a lot of temper slaying around in the back of the field. A couple people getting into each other. So, it could be ended in a caution or whatnot, but I don't think that 3 truck of Brandon Cheburko is going to let anybody by, especially being out in the lead with the last couple laps. I don't think I've ever really seen him let anybody get by him with only a few laps to go. So I'm going to look for the 3 of Brandon Cheburko to get a victory lane.
We've never seen him let any. Remember back to the beginning of the race. When he blocked on the first lap coming off of turn 2 all the way down to the apron. So I don't think he lets anybody go at any point. I
think they wreck before he lets somebody go. We saw Pileski block the 210 of Moustakis. I think that's minor compared to what Cheburko would do to protect that number 1 spot.
Oh, God, yeah. And I mean, even just wait till later tonight when we get into the super speedway race. Cheburko does a great job of blocking. He does it well. He knows he's clear. His spotter's always right there on the horn with him, and I've never seen him come down into anybody, but I've always seen him come really close. So he knows exactly where the rear end of that car is in anything he's driving, and he can put it there.
Well, my question to you two is...
Well, he knows where that car is, Josh. And even if he knows that car's on the inside, he'll still come down because he knows that they're probably afraid of him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. I don't think... I wouldn't let anybody by either, but, it's just going to come down to it. If somebody forces a nose, it may either end in wreckers or checkers. So, I don't know. I pick Brandon. I want to hear your two's picks. I want to hear Andy's pick.
I don't want to jinx anybody.
He already said a caution would mess this race up, but it's completely changed it. So
yeah, exactly. So you got to pick somebody now, Andy.
All right, the 25 of Ferguson.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna laugh if everybody wrecks.
He is 1 lap down, and I would not be surprised if it's somebody from that far back that wins because, as Josh said, based on and these guys are having fun. By the way, they're not out there trying to wreck each other. I'm pretty sure Brandon Cheburko and Tom Moustakis are singing together on the driver radio as of the last lap. But they're not going to play nice when the green flag drops, I'll tell you that much. So I don't think it's unrealistic to say that somebody outside the top 5 can win this race based on what happens. I just think Cheburko's in the best spot.
Yeah, best spot obviously is the leader, control the restart. But listen, you know what? Honestly, I don't think Cheburko cares if he goes home on a record. That guy loves to have fun. He loves to race cars, and he'll try anything. And if it puts him in the fence, then so be it. He'll move on to the next race. That's just the way he goes. And maybe it's that paint schemes too, the number 3. Maybe he's just trying to live up to that.
Cheburko is not in the championship fight. Neither is James Pileski in the number 2 spot, and neither is Tom Moustakis in 3rd. So there's nothing on the line for these guys. They want to win, or you might as well give them 19th in wreck out instead of 2nd because that does not do anything for them. It'll be a 4-lap shootout at Las Vegas. Do we make it to the end? Brandon Cheburko, he'll take it out the way he can, and he's going to defend it. It'll be the Good Wrench Chevrolet at a turn number 4. For the final time, pace car down and away to what can be only described as safety. The 3, the 93, the 210, and the 71 to make up the front 2 rows. To the tri-oval they go. Green flag.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good restart. Oh, blocking Cheburko down in front of Moustakis. Looks like Pileski is going to get clear. Also, as Christian Peterson's side-by-side with Moustakis now as well. That was a big block there by Brandon.
They're 3 wide and 2 truck lengths of space behind with the 7 to 43, the 96. All eyes up front, though. Chaburko is not going to give up that bottom. If you can get topside, you might have an advantage. So to the outside of the racetrack goes James Pileski. He drops down in line. 3 and 4 wide behind. Then there's contact. The 7 Rodney Wofford. He'll get tagged. He saves it. Somehow, the 1 truck is out in the grass, but we stay green. No caution. That allows the leaders to keep going at it.
And a great battle it is into turn number 1 and 2. Right now, Pileski gets to the inside of Chaburko as they exit turn number 2 now. He's got that preferred. He's got that line now. Does he be able to hang on to it as Chaburko drop right down? Of course he does. Cuts the nose right off going into turn number 3. Maintains that lead. They contact. Here comes Pileski again to the inside.
Maybe half an inch when Chaburko came down. The 93, the bump and run at 180 miles an hour at a turn number 4. He's back on the inside again. To turn 1 they go. Chaburko dives it in hard. Top side, he's clear again.
He's got the preferred line. It looks like he's going to get at least a car length lead here off of turn 2. That might have been it for Pileski. He's a little bit further back now. I think Brandon's got the truck. It should be interesting as they're side by side back there still for the 7th position.
They should have wrecked before behind them. It was a spectacular save to get us to this point. The white flag will fly. 1.5 miles to go in Las Vegas. It's Brandon Chaburko, the gap 1.5 truck lengths to turn number 1. Pileski knows he's got to pull something out of the hat. A great run, though, into turn number 1. He'll trail the 3 down the backstretch for the final time. He's already given him a shot. Will he do it again? Turns 3 and 4 to the bumper. Not going to be close enough as he goes to the white line. He might just be a little bit short. Turn 4, checkered flag will fly. Chaburko defends the inside of the racetrack, and he'll get the job done. Brandon Chaburko goes back-to-back for the 2nd time on the year. It's race win number 4 on the season, and he hung on to get it.
Wow.
I think that sums it up quite well.
Yeah, I don't got anything else to say. That was a great finish.
Going into turn 1 when it was all said and done, and Chaburko definitely drove his butt off right there, and what a fantastic race by these guys here in Vegas. We know this place puts on good racing, especially in the trucks, and these guys definitely didn't disappoint here tonight.
I didn't think, Pileski had a shot down to turn number 1. He was 1.5 truck lengths behind. He dives it in there. I don't even know if he braked. And he came out of turn 2, and he was right on his bumper. So even that, I was looking for a big shot. I think he tried to get to him, but Chaburko probably drove that truck in so hard to 3 and 4. They were tight. The 93, the 210 into the grass, trying to get anything they could. That's exactly what you want to see out of a race like this. And that is 3 guys that absolutely went at each other. They hit each other. They bumped each other. But they wrecked each other after the race. That's fun because they raced across the start-finish line. Spectacular finish.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody else saw it, but Thomas Stackhouse was pretty much halfway through the grass trying to pass people there.
I think he was in the air off of the Legends Oval. I'm pretty sure he was jumping up and down through the grass.
Oh, man. I was looking at him like, there's no way he thinks he's going to win that way. But sure enough, he tried to put it down there in the grass and get as much as he could. But, yeah, Brandon put that block on that 93 on lap, like 1 lap to go, and that was pretty much it. If the 93 had given him a little bit more of his bumper, I think the 3 would have went around and he would have got the win there. But these guys just wanted to race it out hard, race it out clean. So Brandon was able to bring it home there, even if he had to do a little bit of blocking to get it done.
He gets the job done, and it is now the 6th time in a row we have had a driver go back-to-back. Chaburko does it for the 2nd time on the year. Winner at Fontana, now winner at Las Vegas, and as well after he went back-to-back at Dover in Michigan earlier. He's now a 4-time race winner in this series and has 2 more wins than any other driver in 2015. We'll get a word from him, Pileski, and Moustakas, hopefully post-race here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll be back for the LSRTV wrap-up in just a moment.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
We're back live at the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The SimHQ Motorsports Las Vegas 200 draws to a close, and Brandon Chiburko, your winner in a thrilling 4-lap to the end shootout, takes home the win by 77 1/100ths of a second over top of James Pileski. Tom Moustakas 2/10 back through the grass in third. And your podium from round number 12 of 15. There's just 3 races left to go. The championship picture, we'll update on you that in a moment. However, first, going to toss things down now pit side. And Josh, I think you've caught up with the driver of the 210. The truck splitter's messed up a little bit. There's grass on it. He'll get a third place tonight after he tried to get everything he could for the race win. Comes up just a little bit short.
Yeah, I'm down here with Tom Moustakas. Great race today. We saw you come up from 20th place starting all the way up to third at one point. We saw you had the unfortunate episode on pit road there, and then the try to pass on the grass there at the end. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, just didn't qualify, started in the back, had a really good set, and got up to about, 7th, and people started peeling off on pit road, and so I decided to as well, and then forgot I was starting 20th, so blew past my stall under green, and then tried to do a one-stop strategy, and that wasn't going to work, so got the caution, got the wave around, and drove it back up through the field, and got to third. That was really fun racing, really the whole race, the first run, and at the end with James and Brandon and Christian. Really, really tight racing, and ended up there, that was fun.
Yeah, it seemed like in those last 10 laps, you guys should have wrecked 5-10 times, even if that's even a small amount. I think you guys probably should have wrecked more than that, but it was great racing out there. We saw you we thought you had the best truck all night, just couldn't get up there to the front, but what were you thinking once you got that you drove through the pits there? Did you have any strategy after that? I thought you said you were going on that one-stop strategy, but once you got that caution flag, did you really think you were back in it, or were you kind of iffy since cautions breed cautions here, obviously in this series? So
I thought if I could get back on the lead lap, I had a shot because the car was good enough. So, the fuel could go about 38 or 39 laps, and I didn't realize that from the beginning, or else I would have been saving and trying to make it a one-stop, because that was the strategy to win, but nobody could do it if you just went all out from the beginning. So just kept going, and after I messed my stall and figured out I couldn't do it on one stop, I just dug as hard as I could, and got the yellow, got the wave, and had a shot at the end. Just had better restarts than Chiburko, and just couldn't get past Pileski. Almost did on that one restart, I think, with like 12 to go, and got to his outside going into one, and the yellow came out, and probably would have had the spot coming out of 2 if there wasn't a yellow. So maybe would have had a shot, but hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, that was it. And it looked like you guys were giving a lot of give and take. I'm sure if you would have pushed a little bit harder, people would have been spun around. I'm sure either Brandon, yourself, or James might have gotten wrecked out. But, it was a great finish either way. And come home top 3. I think this is your first start of the year here in the RoddCar Truck Tour. So that's really good. I mean, a lot of guys come in and don't do so well. So who do you sponsor, shout-outs you'd like to thank for your top 3 tonight?
I don't have any sponsors. I don't really have anybody, but or team or anything. But I have my son. I got to paint up a truck with his face on it. I like to say I drive the baby mobile in the Cup Series. I have his face plastered all over the car, and I got to paint up a baby truck. So I guess I'll thank him. He's my only sponsor, I guess.
All right, well, there it is. Thomas Stakis finished at P3 tonight, thanks himself and his son. Now, I think Andy is able to catch up with P2 here tonight. A great battle. He should be able to catch up with him down on pit road.
Yeah, I am down here with the driver of the Playtime Doggy Daycare 93 Chevy Silverado. That is James Pileski. James, wow, what an awesome race there. Great battle. Pretty much that second half of the race, once that caution came out and put everybody on the same strategy there. Man, you guys are really fighting this thing out up front. That must have been a lot of fun in the driver's seat also.
Oh, that was probably the funnest race I've ever been part of that I didn't get to win. I got to thank Tom. He made the setup. It was really good. And, I wanted to wreck Chubbs, but I didn't. We had some good battles, though. That was fun.
Yeah, a little bit of damage to the front end of your truck. Obviously, making some contact there, pushing him around the racetrack. He likes to come down. He likes to chop your nose off. He did it a couple times to you there. That's got to get a little frustrating in the cab, but it's him, and he's going to do it, so you're almost prepared for it, I'm sure. Man, it just nobody could get around him. You weren't able to get around him there in those final stints. His truck was just that much better, just a little bit better. On the runs and especially on the short runs there, and unfortunately, you come home second place. But you got to be pretty psyched about this one. That was a great run for you guys.
No, absolutely. That was like I said, probably the most awesome race I've been part of. That was a lot of fun. I feel like I could get the run inside him coming off of 4, but then he was on the outside going into 1, and that was the faster way right there. So I don't know. I tried to run him up the track a few times too. That didn't work, but. I don't know. It is what it is. I'm happy with second. It was a good race.
That it was. I'm sure as the season's winding down, obviously not in a championship hunt for yourself, just wanting to get those race wins. There's always next week, I guess. Sponsor shout-outs. Who do you want to thank getting you here for the second place finish?
Oh, I got to thank Chicken Wing Motorsports, Tom Mustakenhaus, and, Chaburko. He's, you can say what you want about him, but he's a good guy. I enjoy having him as a teammate, and we race hard, we don't wreck, and that was fun. Thanks, Playtime Doggy Daycare, and yeah.
There you have it. Congratulations again on the second place finish, and good luck here coming up in the second half of the doubleheader. But Evan is down in victory lane, I think, with the big winner, back-to-back for the second time this season.
And he keeps the streak alive. Not only does he go back-to-back for the second time on the year, but now is the 6th driver in a row to win races in sets of 2. Brandon Chaburko, your winner at Las Vegas. Brandon, James said that he wanted to wreck you, but he didn't. Is that what you were banking on? Because, you guys were at it in those final 4 laps.
Yeah, I was lifting too much into 1 and giving up a lot of time, just not really having a decent feel, I guess, for how the setup was in 1, and they were gaining a lot of time on me there. And that was honestly where I was probably weakest tonight. Not anything setup related. It was just me being bad, I guess. But yeah, I definitely couldn't have been too mad if James would have wrapped me there. I was lifting way too much into 1, and it was the end of the race, so I wouldn't have been upset with him if he would have done so.
This looked like it was going to be a strategy-based race. We had most guys going, pitting early, and then looked like we were going to be coming down for a second time. We had 2 drivers trying to do it on a 1-stop. Caution flag comes out past halfway, and then we see a couple of them through the end of the race. Were you prepared to be that aggressive if this race goes green all the way, or did having those caution flags and having everybody else on your bumper kind of force you to make those moves to avoid getting running over? Because there were times where you got 3-4 different guys jumping high, jumping low on you, but those restarts do that. It bunches everybody back up. I'm sure. I guess you would have enjoyed maybe not having to deal with all of that. It sure looked fun though.
Yeah, definitely from a viewer standpoint, I'm sure the race was very exciting towards the end with all the restarts, and there was a lot of hard racing at the end, but Yeah, from a driver's standpoint, for sure, I wanted to see that go green. I felt like I was actually in a decent rhythm when it was going green. It was definitely messing me up out of my rhythm with all those yellows at the end.
So there's 3 races left on the season. I said I wanted to see you win this because, as we've said before, since round 3, we have not seen somebody not win 2 races in a row. Peterson did it, you did it, then we had Seth Logan do it. You've done it again, which means that you can break that trend if you win 3 in a row next week at Phoenix. You think you can get the job done there?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like anytime I'm in, I can definitely get it done. It's just a matter of executing at the end of the day and keeping it clean.
Well, it wasn't the cleanest bumper on that truck at the end of this one, but a fast truck and you get the job done. It's your 4th win on the inaugural RoddCar Truck Tour campaign. Chubbs, who you want to shout out to?
I gotta thank Tom Moustakis for the setup. He definitely worked on it pretty hard throughout the week, and Jason Altman's designs for coming on board on the hood of my truck this week. Ryan Pywin, Casey Malone for spotting me, and Pileski on Chicken Wing Motorsports.
Well, again, that's 4 wins, and it's still the inaugural season, so whoever's got the most wins, obviously the old-time wins leader in these trucks, but you're now doubled next to the closest driver. Brandon, congratulations. You put on a good show. Best of luck going forward here into the iSuperspeedway race.
Thank you, Evan.
The drivers out here, those top 3, the team trucks going at each other, as we mentioned, not in the point, so they could go at it and go at it for a checkered flag. Andy, that pressure going to be on, though, in just a little bit. But first, got to wrap up Las Vegas. I said I like this track. I'm a little bit biased towards it, Josh, because it's my quote-unquote hometown track, just about 30 minutes down the freeway. It's fun, and I think that we saw that tonight. It can be fun. I mean, we always continue to say that these guys put on a show, and, you know, a lot of guys don't like Traburco driving like that, but I mean, those are teammates going at each other, trying to wreck each other in a way they didn't, and it put on a great show for us. And even somebody like Chubb says, I just want to race it out to the end on green. I'm okay with that, but when they're put in this situation, these guys rise to the occasion, and I mean, they absolutely put on a show.
Yeah, they did, and that was a great last couple laps there. I mean, obviously we had fun in the booth. I hope everybody watching had a lot of fun, and and as you heard, those guys had fun out there. So that's what the biggest thing is about. Everybody had fun there. You know, Brandon was able to bring home the win again, back to back, and I just want everybody to know out there, Evan is so happy that he went back to back. Like all night, all Evan could talk about was, I really hope Brandon Wentz going to go back to back.
Trends.
Yeah.
That is, Traburco goes back to back, and we've seen a driver go back to back, back to back to back to back to back to back times, for the record.
Yeah, that is his favorite saying, everybody out there listening. Back to back is Evan Pasoko's.
Back to back.
Yeah, that's his signature line. So if anybody ever see that, that's Evan Pasoko for sure. But no, we had a great race out there tonight, and it should be fun. You know, it gets everybody's blood pumping, getting ready for the iSuper Chase here, starting in the next hour.
There's only 3 races left in the Truck Series campaign, so the championship going to be very exciting. But unfortunately, that means that somewhere along the line, the back-to-back has to end. It continued through tonight, Andy. Trucks aside now, we look forward for the second part of our doubleheader. It's the iSuper Chase.
And Andy is just speechless currently.
I am speechless, but
he's already headed off to Daytona, I guess.
I am. I'm trying to get on the helicopter as we speak.
Yeah.
But no, listen, these guys put on a great show, but you know what? Enough of the fun. It's time to get serious. We got big time racing coming up next with the Chase, first race of the Chase. And you're at Daytona, a place that anything can happen. You don't want anything to happen because you don't want your chase chances gone in the first race. So a lot of pressure coming up here in the next hour on all these drivers that are going to find themselves battling for the championship. So looking forward to the second half of our back-to-back doubleheader.
And before we step away, I want to thank all of the people at iSuperspeedway and at RoddCar. But Josh, you're not with us in the booth for the second part of the Fridays. I know, as Andy said, it's time to get down to business because the guys that had gotten wins and had gotten locked in earlier in the season have been able to have some fun on Fridays. You guys had last Friday off. We got to sit around, chat with some of the drivers. You're looking to go back-to-back, and get to say it again, and look for your second Ice Super Speedway Championship. That begins tonight, though. You're going to be out there on track with these guys. You're right in that mix. You're 10 points ahead of the guys with no wins. You're 5 points behind the guys that got 3 wins on the season. So you're looking pretty good, tied for third. But I mean, I know that those kind of gaps can go away. What is your focus going to be going into that race before we let you get down there?
The biggest thing is just have a decent finish tonight. You know, I definitely like to go out there and win, but a top 5 would be probably the best. That's what I'm hoping for. You know, get through this first round is the biggest point. You know, then we'll go to Talladega. I feel like I'm a little bit better there at Talladega. Just all my wins have come at Talladega except for the shootouts, and you know it's going to be about consistency through the chase. You know, we got a lot of people that actually didn't finish in the top 10 last week, so they're not locked into the race tonight. So we got a lot of chase competitors. Myself, Brandon, Rodney Wofford did not get locked in. So it should be interesting coming through the B main tonight. You know, somebody might miss the A main, and that'll be a big hit to their chase implications. That means they would definitely have to go out and win the next week. So, you know, there's a little bit of pressure, not as much as last year since that was kind of our first, you know, big chase, you know, where we had eliminations. So it was definitely a little bit more nerve-wracking. I kind of know what to expect this year. So, you know, consistency is probably where it's going to be out through at least the first couple of races, and then definitely going to have to go for wins after that.
Well, we definitely wish you the best of luck on track until that second part of our Friday night LSRTV doubleheader on iRacing Live gets underway. That does it for the RoddCar Truck Tour. Brandon Chaburko, your winner. He goes back-to-back and picks up his 4th win on the season at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Good night, and we will see you for part 2 at 10 o'clock Eastern, the top of the hour. It is race number 1 of round 1. The Super 10 round of the 2015 Ice Super Chase begins 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. We'll see you then.